You just yawned. Maybe not right this second, but sometime in the last hour, your mouth stretched open, your eyes watered, and your lungs pulled in a long, involuntary breath. You probably didn't think about it. You definitely didn't choose it. But the truth is far stranger than you realize. That yawn wasn't really yours. It belongs to something inside you that is 200,000 years old. Think about the last time you saw someone yawn. Did you feel your own jaw start to ache? Did you try to fight it and lose? That reflex is not a coincidence. It is not a quirk of modern boredom or bad sleep. It is a signal, passed down from ancestors who needed it to survive. So what is a yawn actually for? For decades, scientists assumed yawning was simply about oxygen. The idea seemed obvious. Your brain runs low on oxygen, so you yawn to pull in more air. It made sense on paper. There was just one problem. It was wrong. Researcher Robert Provine spent years studying yawning at the University of Maryland, and his experiments quietly dismantled the oxygen theory. He had participants breathe pure oxygen and then measured how often they yawned. If the old theory was correct, extra oxygen should have stopped the yawns completely. It didn't. People kept yawning at the same rate, oxygen or not. Something else was driving the behavior, something older and stranger than simple biology textbooks had assumed. The real answer came from a different direction entirely, not from your lungs, from your skull. Psychologist Andrew Gallup, now at SUNY Polytechnic Institute, proposed something called the brain cooling hypothesis. His theory was simple but radical. A yawn is not about oxygen. It is a built-in cooling system for your brain. Here is how it works. When you yawn, your jaw stretches wide. That stretch increases blood flow to your face and neck. At the same time, the deep inhale of cool air passes through your sinuses, which sit just behind your nose right next to your brain. That cool air acts almost like a radiator, pulling heat away from brain tissue that has gotten slightly too warm. Your brain, it turns out, is a furnace. It uses roughly 20% of your body's energy, despite being a small fraction of your total weight. Keeping it at the right temperature isn't optional. It is survival. And for early humans wandering the hot plains of Africa hundreds of thousands of years ago, with no air conditioning, no shade structures, no ice water, a built-in brain cooling mechanism wasn't a luxury. It was essential equipment. Gallup tested this by observing when people yawn most. Not randomly, not evenly throughout the day. Yawning spikes right before sleep and right after waking, exactly when your brain's temperature is shifting the most. It spikes during moments of transition when your body is recalibrating itself. It is not laziness. It is thermal regulation hardwired into your skull. But if yawning is just about temperature, why does it spread from person to person like a whispered rumor? You felt it. Someone across the room yawns. Within seconds, so do you. It isn't intentional. It isn't polite mimicry. It happens even when you try to stop it, even when you're embarrassed by it in a meeting or a classroom. This is called contagious yawning, and it might be the strangest part of the whole story. Provine's research found something remarkable here, too. You don't even need to see a person yawn to catch it. Reading the word yawn, like you're doing right now, can trigger one. Just thinking about yawning increases the odds you'll do it within minutes. Your brain doesn't need visual proof. A concept is enough. Why would evolution wire something so easily triggered by mere suggestion? The leading theory points to something surprisingly emotional. Contagious yawning appears to be linked to empathy and social bonding. Primatologist Franz de Waal, known for his work on primate behavior and empathy, found that chimpanzees catch yawns from each other, especially from close companions and family members. Strangers don't trigger the same contagious response nearly as strongly. Familiar faces do. This suggests yawning isn't just cooling your brain. It might be a silent form of communication, a way ancient social groups stayed synchronized. If one member of a hunting party or a family group needed rest or was signaling drowsiness, a spreading yawn could subtly coordinate the whole group's rhythm. Sleep together, wake together, stay alert together. In a world where survival depended on group cohesion, unconscious synchronization wasn't trivial. It could mean the difference between a group that moved and rested as one and a group that fractured under mismatched alertness. Even dogs catch yawns from their human owners, more so from owners they're closely bonded with than from strangers. That detail alone should stop you. A behavior this old, this reflexive, is powerful enough to leap across species as long as there's an emotional bond underneath it. Now think about your own day. How many times have you yawned in a meeting? Not from boredom, but because someone near you did first. How many times has a scroll through your phone, filled with people talking about being tired, made you feel tired too? That's the ancient machinery still running. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a campfire circle 200,000 years ago and a video call today. It still reads a yawning face as a signal worth mirroring. It still treats a familiar voice describing exhaustion as something to synchronize with. The context has changed completely. The wiring hasn't changed at all. There's something almost humbling in that. You walk around assuming your habits are modern, scrolling before bed, zoning out in long meetings, stretching your jaw during a boring lecture. But underneath every one of those moments sits a reflex built for a world without light bulbs, without walls, without any separation between your body and the temperature of the earth around you. Your ancestors didn't yawn because they were rude or tired of listening or checked out. They yawned to cool an overheating brain during the hottest hours of an African afternoon. They yawned to signal, silently, to the people they trusted most, that it was time to rest or time to stay sharp together. Every yawn was a small act of biology and belonging, stitched into one gesture. So the next time you feel that stretch pulling at your jaw, that involuntary breath rising in your chest, pause for a second before you reach for your phone to hide it. You are not just tired. You are running a 200,000-year-old cooling system, tuned by evolution, still triggered by the same emotional threads that once held small bands of humans together under an open sky. You didn't choose to yawn. Something ancient chose it for you, long before you had a name for it, long before you even existed.